Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 25 of the Midweek Mixup podcast. Tonight, it's just three amigos, myself, Forza Erwin, and Shomberlon. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter show this week with us having two shows. Obviously, this is part one of episode 25. And on Friday, if you haven't already seen on Twitter, we have a special episode which has Thomas Salah, the creator of the Falconeer, with myself and Forza Erwin, and potentially Italian Clowns joining us to do that interview. So we hope you join us then as well. But tonight we'll get it started. Again, like I say, a little bit of a shorter show, and we'll do our introductions. So first of all, I know Erwin wants to have a little speech directed specifically at Mr. Vin himself. So how are you doing today, brother? And what you been playing?
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm doing good. Very long and busy day, but feeling good. It was a good, productive day, let's say. So that's really nice. And I want to do a rectification, especially for Vincent. I said last week on the podcast that I would give Sea of Thieves a 7.5, maybe an 8. And I think I played since that comment. I think I played 20 hours of Sea of Thieves again. I'm totally addicted. I had so much fun with Sea of Thieves Barry, also with Vincent, with Emil, with Petju. We laughed our asses off, and I would like to give the game at least a 9 minus. 9 minus.
9 minus.
Yeah, no, but it's amazing. And Barry also said, yeah, why do you like it now? And they added so much nice things to the game, some really nice extras, also a lot of skins. I have now a dog that's called My Pet. That's a different story why I called it My Pet, because we all called it My Pet. We had a funny loot that we had. We were going to the vault, and then we were like sailing for 3 hours and digging up chests and etc. And then finally at 3 hours we got the key to go into the vault. But when we go into the vault, you only have 2 minutes to get all the chests and to do a puzzle that will get you 20k of loot, of gold. But in that 2 minutes, after 3 hours of being on the boat, Pat decided to do something else that biatch. So you need to have everybody in that vault to get as much as loot as possible. So normally when such things happen and you want to apologize, you say my bad, right? But now you make the comment my pet. That's why we were on Twitter. We were hashtag my pet. So that was really funny. But the thing is, this game it's not a narrative-driven story game, right? But it's that you create your own stories, and especially when you have a nice team, when you're just encountering a megalodon, where your boat is full of loot after 4 hours of sailing the seas. It's super exciting, or coming across other pirates that will or sink your ship or the other way around. Man, it's such a fun game. I'm totally hooked in, and I really love it. So thanks, Finn, for getting me back in, and I love it. And rectification done, mate.
Like I say, it's we just before we started, we were having a discussion about this, and the game has come on such leaps and bounds. But the one thing they definitely need to add, and we've spoke about this, is increased party sizes. Like, it's all well and good having 4-man teams, etc., but I think they could even increase, especially on one of the big galleon ships. You could easily have 6 to 8 players on a galleon.
Yes,
and it would be no problem. It would be absolutely no problem.
And maybe they need to then just address it that you don't play against people that are a one-man boat or maybe two-man boat, but only you fight against other galleons, right?
Yeah.
That would be nice. And also we are having a Twitter DM group where Justin from the US said maybe you also need lobbies where Pirate Legends get in only with Pirate Legends, because most of Pirate Legends are so good that they will own your ass. And they were having 6 hours of sailing and looting, that they get destroyed and they lost their loot that they collected over those 6 hours. So
yeah, and the legends just scoop it up
and
steal it.
And that's the pirate stuff. I know it's the pirate culture that such things can happen, but maybe they need to level it down a little bit with. Holy shit! Well, what are you saying, Steve? You want to say something, mate? man, it's a fun game. I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot.
No, it is like you say, it's awesome, and I do agree. I think especially for new starters trying to come into Sea of Thieves, that might be a little bit disheartening. Like imagine going out, but even if you just by yourself sailing the sea and then just getting owned all the time by pirate legends, you just put the game down.
Yes, we had it actually on Saturday, and we started our journey. And Barry was on the PC back then, because later he got a Series X as well the day after. But we were on with Barry. He was on the PC, so we get to play against PC dudes, right? So we were trying to get the Artena or something like that. But we on the road towards there, we got destroyed 3 times or something like that because of other dudes were killing our boatman like 3 times. And then we said, okay, we're gonna do something else. We're just gonna do gold hoarders and let's go from there. And that actually was going really well. But you notice also against PC players with the mouse and keyboard, right? Yeah. Most of the time you're screwed anyway. So now Barry has a Series X as well. We can only play against Xbox players, and it's actually way more relaxed. Unless you go hunting, what we normally do when we got all the loot in. We're gonna try to hunt and try to be really pirates and to mess them up. So really cool. I like it.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. Outside of Sea of Thieves, have you been playing anything else? Or
nope. Sea of Thieves only, man. Even at daytime sometimes when I'm having my break or something like that, I'm trying to get in a little bit and to have my agenda a little bit more free. But no, I'm really addicted to the game and I want to reach Pirate Legend. I'm now 41 at Gold Hoarders and Merchant, and the other one I'm like 26 or 27 or something like that, or 28. So I'm going into the right direction, but my goal is to be Pirate Legend for sure. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. I definitely want to jump in. It's just hard, especially with the parties. They get full so quick, so it's just managing to get on time or trying to get it in first before the party fills up. Right, that's the only difficult thing. Yes. But no, I'm looking forward to playing it a bit more.
And like Finn said, you won't become legend when playing other games, right? So I really need to get. But the funny part is, we have some friends on Xbox coming from the USA. Justin and Joshua also, again, very hooked on the game. My friend Emil, Vincent and his wife and his friends as well. And Barry now also back in. So it's like a CFT bundle. And that's actually matching what they said also, like with the interview with Larry Herb, right? With Major Nelson. Where Joe Nate was on, that he was saying that the game is now the biggest as it is. Current players, active players, but also the amount of people working on the game at Rare. They also have different teams helping them on the game. They have now the season, so it's really complete package, and it's really amazing to see where the game has gone over the last 3 years. I was already in alpha when there were only 5,000 people playing the game, so I was really from scratch. From scratch. I would think it was even pre-alpha, something like that, already in the game. And to see how the game has evolved, let's say, over those last 3 years, and it's becoming so big now at the moment, it's really cool. And I noticed also when I'm watching Twitch to get the drops, where you get in-game loot, you see also a lot of people watching the game. And that's also changed a lot. So really cool.
It's absolutely awesome. Like I say, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next with the game as well, because I've obviously added stories and I've added like story missions and quests and things like that to it. I think, and obviously they can quite easy to do expansions to the map. They can expand the map a little bit more, add new islands, add new areas, and I think that it is possibilities are limitless with what they can do with that game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do to expand on it.
Yeah, awesome. And maybe third-person view also, right? We discussed that would be really nice if they could bring that in. My pet, yes. So you see Barry coming in and directly saying the my pet stuff. We have something to tease Pet a little bit again, and it's sad that he's not on the podcast, or else Vincent would laugh his ass off. But the Telltale's games, and man, it's I'm really surprised how much fun I think it is at the moment. So it's really great. Yeah,
awesome stuff. And of course, secondly, we have Shomberlon. How are you doing, brother? What have you been playing?
I've been mainly playing The Division.
That's another one that's had a massive resurgence as well.
Yeah,
both of them.
Well, was that night where me and a friend walked Dutch through the DLC.
the entirety of the DLC, and then God knows how many levels of the tower as well.
It wasn't that many. I think it was about 10.
Yeah,
but we were doing it on like the second from highest difficulty to get the better loot.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much Dutch was sat at the back.
Yeah, just
you go ahead.
But it's the quickest way to get him up to gear level scratch. Because it was just like there was no point. Your guns and your armor would have just got absolutely destroyed until you got your Patriot set. So
100%. That was awesome though. Again, we spent possibly the best part of 5-6 hours, kind of just playing through the entirety of like the New York expansion, and then going into playing on the tower and ranked up from level 30 straight up to level 40 with the help of Shom and his friend. So that was awesome. That was good fun.
Really it was good fun. It was good fun. I've played a bit of Apex, but I'm not getting back into that heavily. I play it with another friend whenever he's on. So I only play a couple of games, and I think I play.
Try not to get invested in it again.
Well, I don't want to give them my money anymore. I'm still pissed off with them.
Why? What happened?
Just that they changed the season pass, so the way you level up in the season pass, so it takes a lot longer. Because they were like, oh, well, people can complete it in a week. And it's just like, well, yeah, that's because they hit it hard. There's a reason they complete it in the week. But for your average Joe, it takes longer. So for me, it's more of a case of, yeah, it'll take longer, but also when you get near the end, people are more likely to buy levels and spend real money to go up levels. So it's just, to me, it's just a cash grab. Yeah. It is an absolute cash grab. And people kind of go, it's a free to play. It's like I've sunk enough money into that I've paid more than the cost of a normal game. Yeah, probably twice over with when you think of the season pass and some skins. Like normally I'm like, well, if it's free to play, I'll buy some skins. I don't have a problem with that. Their skins are outrageously priced in the first place. They're like 15 quid for a gold item. So that could be a gun skin. It could be a charm. 15 quid for a charm on your gun that you barely see.
Okay.
So I just think it's kind of soured my view on Respawn a little bit. I know EA is probably heavily behind that, but
100%.
I still think Respawn it sours them a little bit. So, but yeah, I've been playing a bit of that. And was it this week we did Rogue Company?
Oh, I didn't play Rogue Company. Did you play Rogue Company this week?
Oh, no, I played it with Pat.
Ah, awesome.
So
I haven't jumped in that on the Series X at all, actually, yet.
No, we should do a night.
No,
it's
definitely.
A good game.
Yeah, it's fun, easy to jump into, and you don't really, especially if you've got a good little squad of 4, you're good. You can absolutely own games, but if you're in with randoms, you just get absolutely smashed because people don't listen.
Yeah, I'd say ideally you need 3 out of the 4 to be friends.
Yeah.
And then the one random. Although me and Pat were in a party, yet somehow the other 2 could hear us, which was a bit weird.
Okay.
Weird.
Because I was talking complete bollocks the whole time. Because I just thought I was talking with Pat. We were talking about what was going on Twitter, talking about the podcast, things like that. And then I went, right, Pat, there's a guy on your left. And then I heard somebody say, it's okay, I've got him. And I was like, what? Like, you can hear me? But then we had to restart the game because it was lagging a bit, and then people couldn't hear us. So I don't know if there was a little bit of an issue with that. But yeah, it was just kind of like, I can't believe they heard everything I said. Oh, well.
So is it anything else, or are those the 3 games you've been mainly hammering? So you've been on a first-person shooter binge?
Well, no, I wouldn't say first-person shooter binge. Both thingy, Division and thingy are over the shoulder, third person.
Yeah, first, third person. Okay, shooter binge.
Shooter binge, yeah. Trying to think what else I was going to do. Have I done anything else? No, I don't think I have. No, there was I've been knackered this week. I've been a bit stressed and knackered because I had an interview for a university place back at my old university in Glasgow. I'm going for a teaching license which normally when you go and do an undergrad, you just apply, they look at your grades, and then they go, yeah or no, depending on, your personal statement, stuff like that. With this, I have to have a proper interview with people. So I did that yesterday, but I've been I don't find out for about 5 days.
Oh, shit.
So it's probably the end of the week.
A waiting game.
It could be later. It could be a case of if I'm kind of like borderline. So if they're not quite sure, but then they're kind of like, right, well, we've got some spaces. Let's look at the borderline people. So it could be up until the end of the month. But I couldn't get a read on the interviewer. Sometimes you can have an interview and you kind of going, well, that went to shit, didn't it? You know what I mean? You kind of. Or
maybe you should apply for a janitor, right?
Well, I've come out of some interviews going, yeah, nailed it. If I don't get the job, I'll be completely surprised, and I've gotten the job. But there's other times I've walked out going, yeah, that's not going to happen. Even if I felt that the interview went okay, you just kind of got the vibe off somebody. It's just like, yeah, I wasn't what they're looking for. So they say janitor. I went for a janitor job once and I didn't get it.
Really?
So I didn't have the experience with the little polishing floor machine. They were like, have you ever used one of them before? And I was like, no, but I'm a quick learner. And they're like, right, okay. It's just like, how am I it's not like there's a training course you can go on for a floor polisher. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just thingy on the job. And it was for the high school I live next to. And it's just like, I've seen the people walking out of there. It's just like, I think it was one of those, I'm overqualified.
How cool would it be if you're going to apply for a janitor role at a Rare or something like that, or Ninja Theory, right? Just have a quick.
You'd just be sneaking past doors with a broom. You'd be like, I'm just cleaning this desk. Yeah.
Emptying bins during a conference call.
Yes.
I'm just going to complete. I'm just going to just do. Computer screen needs cleaned.
I wonder what the security is like in places like that.
I don't. It's a good question. Very good question. Hopefully not. Hopefully a little bit lax, so we can get in and clean things.
Well, no, I mean, I bet there's kind of like proper NDAs they have to sign.
Yeah,
they'll be just as strict.
And also at evening, I think evening hours also, right? Cleaning probably. So when everybody's out of the building, and then they start cleaning, right? Maybe
until it's crunch time where everybody's working 24/7.
Yes. Yeah. But
I wonder whether you have to leave your phone at the front desk or whatever, or something, anything that can record. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Maybe if you don't get the job at the university, or can you try to do that then?
What, janitor?
At Rare or Ninja Theory.
If I don't get the job, if I don't get the place on the course, I've got another interview because this was in Glasgow. This was like via Zoom, but for University of Glasgow. That's where I did my undergrad. I've got another interview beginning of next month for the University of the West, the Highlands and Islands, which is kind of like, it's not really a university, it's a bunch of colleges, but they do university degrees, or they do teaching licenses. And that's actually in the town I live just outside of. So that would be more preferable because it means I don't have to relocate to Glasgow.
Yes.
So I've got that in 2 weeks' time. So, and I'm still waiting to hear back from the other 3 universities, or whether I've even get any interview or not.
Well, fingers crossed. Crossed.
Good luck, Steve.
If I don't get anything, I'm considering going back to China in August.
Really?
Maybe I might just do like a semester in China. I've got to do something. I'm going stir crazy at the moment doing the job I'm doing.
Okay.
And I'm just, it's just getting boring now. It's just getting boring. I've pretty much, it's almost like pocket money wage I earn at the moment. And it's like, I'm getting on. I need to be flipping doing something.
Yeah.
So that's enough about my life. Let's talk about games.
Yes, let's.
What did you play, Drew? Come on.
What have I been playing? To be fair, I mean, it sounds strange, but I've actually been really enjoying playing Wreckfest, which has been on Game Pass this week.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I didn't expect to like that game so much. It's one I didn't think I could justify. I think there was like something like £30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think I could justify the price, and I was hoping it would come into Game Pass, and it has. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised at the driving mechanics in that game. I thought they'd be rubbish, but they're actually really good.
Yeah,
much better than I thought. But the game itself has got quite a variance as well. Like I thought Wreckfest was literally just going to be mainly Destruction Derby, but it's not. There's a lot of races in there. There is Destruction Derby. There's like NASCAR type events. There's silly like events and weird Destruction Derby with tractors and minibuses and little cars, big cars. It's really good fun actually. I think it'd be quite fun as a party game, especially getting quite a group of us on. But it's not a big game either by any means. I think it's only a few gig. So it's quite a small space to take up. Been playing a little bit of Dirt 5 because I did pick that up before it went to Game Pass.
When's that coming to Game Pass? At the end of the week?
Tomorrow.
Friday. Oh, is it tomorrow?
Yeah. Yes, tomorrow. And that's
definitely worth playing.
That's awesome as well. Yeah, there's quite a lot of. They've got. I don't know if anybody watches any YouTubers that. Do a lot of racing games, etc. But I didn't know they managed to get one of the YouTubers, Slap Train, on there as well as one of the radio commentators.
Yeah,
which is nice seeing. It's like they do a podcast in the background in the menu, so they kind of talk between each other about racing events and different drivers and competitions and things. So whilst you're just sitting in the menu, if you're just literally wanting something on in the background, they've got a podcast that they put on there, which is really cool.
It's a little bit cringy. It's a little bit cringy at times, but
yes, it can be.
The idea is good, and it's actually a big Forza player also, Slaptrain. I think he started his career off on YouTube mainly playing Forza games, and then the drifting part of it. Yeah, but he became really big. I believe over 1 million subs or something like that.
Yeah, really big.
But so to see him in a game, I think if it's you that is in such a game, it's so cool. And they try to do something then differently on that part. And Dirt 5, it's not a game that is really deep. It's just pick up and play. Don't expect too much. Also, not so much from the AI, but it looks really good. It runs nice. And it just, like I said, pick up and play. Physics are easy to play with. So you're gonna enjoy for sure. Yeah.
It's an awesome game. Like I say, it's Wreckfest, Dirt 5, a little bit of Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's much, but like I tried Yakuza 0 and I just couldn't. It just wasn't for me. But Like a Dragon is so much better. The story's a little bit easier to get into. It's a little bit funnier. It is still silly. But again, it's turn-based RPG, but it's also quite a fun turn-based RPG. Like you've got stupid mechanics where you just lamp somebody across the head with like a sign in the street. So it's actually quite a fun game, but it does still have a lot of what the Yakuza games do have, and that's quite long cutscenes. So a lot of the time you just put it on, and you'll be sitting for maybe half an hour before you're doing anything, just watching stuff. And a lot of people had to go at Quantum Break for these things, long cutscenes. But Yakuza, there is a lot of cutscenes in that game. Like I didn't realize just how many. But it doesn't detract from it. It is still a good game, and it's just one that I'm going to chip away at steadily. I'm not going to be playing it like it's not a game that I can like the medium where I just wanted to continue playing it.
Yeah, you want to find out what's going on.
Yeah, Yakuza's one where I can do a little bit, get a couple of missions done, and then put it down, and I don't mind just turning it off and jumping on something else. It's again an easy one to pick up and play and not really get too invested in.
With Wreckfest, what's the multiplayer like? How many people can you have?
It depends on what. Yeah, it's 16 to 32 or something. It's ridiculous.
We can all be in.
Maybe get worth getting like a community night.
Yeah, it's really you're gonna laugh your ass off for sure.
Definitely. If everybody in here wants to join in on a community night, we'd be happy to get that set up. That's no problem.
Especially if we'll just go after Erwin.
For sure. That's for sure. That's going to happen. The same with karting. You know, I don't want to bump my chest, but with karting, I'm quite fast. But then you notice when you're racing with friends or with other people, they're trying to slow you down, those bitches. Especially when you lap them, they're gonna hold you on. You know, hold you off, those fuckers. But I don't expect anything else, Steve, for sure. Yeah.
That's the way forward. That's the way forward.
Yes. Yeah. And The Last of Us 2, or no?
Yes, I've started that. Yeah, started Last of Us 2 the other day and managed to pick it up. This is the funny thing. It was in the Xbox group chat we used to be in.
Oh,
you know, yes. Yeah. Did you see? I have to mention this because it was quite a funny turnaround. But you might have seen Esky Boy that was in the group. Have you seen him on Twitter this week?
Yeah, I saw his PS5, right?
So no.
What?
He had his PS. He got rid of the Series X. he got the PlayStation 5. The next day, actually 2 days later, he came on Twitter. He was like, "No, that's it. I can't do this. Like, I hate the PlayStation 5." So got rid of the PlayStation 5, swapped it again for a Series X with somebody. I got his Series X back, and he was like, "Yeah, that's it. I'm
man,
yep.
I thought he was joking. I didn't respond that he was selling his PS5. I thought, okay, this is clickbait. He wants to troll. I'm not going to
legitimately
really?
have it. Yeah, legitimately. He's got the Series X back, got rid of the PlayStation.
I wonder, that dude, what is his name? He has me blocked. That Chris dude or something like that?
Chris, yes, yeah.
He probably flipped his mind for sure.
He was hilarious. Well, he's got a Series S now. So he's got an Xbox as well. But no, he was just laughing. He was just laughing.
Okay.
He was like, you just call him a flip-flop.
That SK boy, man, that's even worse than I am. Holy shit.
But it was just so much funny because he put a post on saying like Xbox is the best box, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
He literally wasn't joking. He's got his Xbox back, and everyone thinks he's just taking the piss. I was like, no, it happened. That's exactly what happened.
Oh, so man. Yeah. I can understand a little bit when you have Game Pass and all those kind of things. You know, where your ecosystem.
That's his main thing. Like, he went on to PlayStation, and all the games that were on Game Pass were like $25 on PlayStation. He was like, "So now I've got nothing."
No. I can understand. Yeah, for me, you know, when GT7 is now delayed also to 2022.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get one earlier, for sure not. I tried, like I said, I'm gonna be Pirate Legend first, but after that, let's say, I'm probably gonna play Days Gone on my PS4 Pro. But something in me says, okay, I want to play it at 60 frames because I'm now so used to playing games on 60 frames on the Series X that I know that it's gonna be better somewhere else that I want to play it on or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would wait for the 60. I'd wait for PS5 to do it. I've been eyeing up Days Gone.
Get it on PC.
But I've got a Mac. I'd wait. I'm going to wait for the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Oh, you're going to wait until 2023?
Probably. I don't know. Depends on what's going on.
Or a limited edition version of the console.
Maybe. Yeah. Or wait until they actually got expandable storage.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm struggling now with the Xbox just swapping stuff about all the time. You can't do that with the PlayStation. You have to delete it.
Yeah, it's irritating. It's already irritating on the Series X. Can you imagine on the PS5? But I deleted a couple games, you know, because I got the Division 2 also. It was a gift from Marion, so thanks again. But I deleted it now, Breakpoint, because my hard disk drive was like maybe 3 gig and it was full. Yeah. So I deleted the Breakpoint and some other games, I believe, just to make some space, you know. But it's kind of shitty that you have to do it because, you always want to just play a game and just press the button and go.
And I still can't justify pulling the plug on $220 expansion yet. No, I can't justify that. Like, not when you can get the same but quicker on PC in an SSD form for like 150, or get a larger storage with the same speeds for the same price or less. It's like, come on, see, you need to drop that a little. We know it's proprietary, but it's still overpriced.
150 is something that I would do, but I think the 220 that it is now, or even 240, I believe in the Netherlands, something like that. Man, it's so much money. It's almost the price of a Series S, and that is something that holds me back. Let's say.
Yes, exactly. When you can get a Series S or an expandable storage.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. So it's Steve has my pet. But no, it's expensive. But yeah, I think that is, you know, they had to do it because the prices will go up so much massively if they put in a bigger hard drive. Yeah. But you know, it's just luxury problems. We are luckily to have one, to own one, to game on it. So.
The funny thing is, as well, is we're also into a luxurious position here with the storage and things in the Series X. Obviously it's built in, but it's not to the point where it's completely unremovable like it is on the PlayStation 5. Like you can't do anything with the PlayStation 5 if the storage, which is soldered directly to the motherboard on the PlayStation 5 is corrupt, it's done. Like that is that console is knackered. It needs replaced. Whereas on the Xbox, that's not the case. It can be replaced internally.
Yeah.
And again, they only have the NVMe SSD availability, and nothing's been authorized yet, so none of them work. And until they do it, and it's not a case of you can buy one, plug it in, because if you buy one and plug it in now, it will not recognize it because it hasn't been switched on yet. Like the firmware availability for the SSD shot on PS5 isn't switched on, so you can't do anything with it, which is just insane. And I mean, they've got something like it's like 600 gig or something or less available to them.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But I think also, even if it gets there, that will be nice. But I think also you can mistaken by the price of that SSD also, right? Because that's going to be massively as well. So one way or the other, it's going to be super expensive to have another memory card or just an extra storage. It's going to be massively expensive. And the thing is, if you can afford it, do you want some luxury like you just don't have to switch games? I might do so. It depends how frustrated I get, right? Because of all of this. And I think with 1 terabyte extra, I can do a lot.
Yeah.
I will be fine for just the next year or so. Just go from there. But let's see. Maybe probably this year is going to be crazy with COVID also. So maybe my holiday money that I get from my employer, that maybe I can buy such things.
Yeah.
Instead of going on holiday, so let's see how much.
I know we will see. We will see what happens. To our first major topic of this week, it is about the PS5, and it is not just PS5 but PlayStation in general. And that is that Jim Ryan, of course, has come out this week and said very much because of the economic benefits of bringing all of their recent games to PC. They will continue to bring first-party titles and titles to PC going forward, starting in April, I do believe, with Days Gone. This is an absolute straightforward thing, and obviously over the last day or so, we've seen PlayStation diehards absolutely lose their mind over this. We've seen death threats, insults, and everything to Sony executives. You name it, we've seen it. It's absurd, really, because the same stuff happened from PlayStation diehards and some Xbox diehards when Xbox originally done it. And of course, we know infamously Crap Gamer had got torn apart by Phil Spencer himself when Quantum Break.
It was nice. It was nice, back in the day.
Yeah. So now we see exactly the same thing happening on PlayStation, but we know, because we've been shouting it all along, you've got to wind down and just think, this is business. At the end of the day, it's not just about literally, right, okay, we're just going to appease console gamers, and Twitter is not the be all and end all of where this works or how this works. Like, Twitter is such a small part of the gaming community, and I don't think people realize that. Like, there's literally 100. If you have a look at it in serious forms, Shom's disappeared a moment.
Think you pressed the wrong button. CFTs as well.
Yeah. If you have a look at this in the serious form, welcome back.
I pressed the wrong button.
I thought you did. If you have a look in serious form, the Xbox, and this is a post on Twitter I'd seen as well the other day that I put in the group chat. I think it was something like 6 of the top Steam games bought in 2020 were Xbox games, which is absolutely insane to see. Let's have a look see if I can scroll up a little bit to see what that list was.
Hey, Drew, but isn't it also, just to come back at your comment about Twitter is not the end all, right, with all the hardcore fanboys? Didn't he also said, Jim Lyon, when he was saying, the PlayStation community doesn't mind games going to PC? He said that in the interview, right? Did you really? Did you saw it? And then I was so long because all the PlayStation fanboys on Twitter are always losing their shit. No PC, no Xbox. But you see with such comments that he doesn't pay attention to any fanboy nonsense or whatever. They are in for the business. They know they need to do it. They know they need to fund new games, etc. So it's really fun to see such a dude saying that in an interview, because that means all the hardcore Sony fanboys that thinks that Sony only exclusive. No, that's not the way forward. They're just taking it step by step, and they will go to a situation. And I maybe it's wishful thinking, but I have the feeling that Gran Turismo might be the first game that will be releasing on PC quite soon, or maybe day one, together with the PS5 version, because that will be a game that is massively depending on community. Racing is huge on PC with all the kinds of sims
big on
that
PC.
they have. They're going to expand and explode that, I think. But it's just taking it slowly, just to get used to it, and you're gonna see it more, because they said multiple games they are coming to the PC, right? And Days Gone is now also and only the first one. So
I'm expecting them all. And again, you've got a good point with Gran Turismo. Like the racing sim scene on PC is huge. Obviously, it's much bigger than it is on console. Like the racing setup for PC is massive. And Gran Turismo's, again, it is the top racing game, as much as Forza fans don't like to see it. In a sim sense, if you're looking for an actual sim, that is the best simulator game, and this is where we need Microsoft to step up with Forza Motorsport and match them par on par with how good of a sim racer it is, because Horizon is by far the best arcade open world racer ever.
Unbeatable.
Ever. But in terms of sim racing, of course, you've got Assetto Corsa, you've got, of course, which you know is brilliant, iRacing, Assetto Corsa, and Gran Turismo is the top three. Forza Motorsport is kind of sitting outside of that because they still haven't really got it down to a T yet. So I agree. I think GT7 could be the first day one potential exclusive on PC with PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
I think we'll agree with that.
And it's smart, eh? I know that people don't like it, but in the end, it's just business, and that's the way that Jim Lyon also sees it. It's just a matter of money, and they see it as a money cow. And I think we talked about it in earlier shows as well. As you can see, what the strategy is for Microsoft, where they want to reach so many gamers on so many different platforms. I think this is only the way forward, because if you go to, even if the company I work for, if we always have a certain amount of sales, for example, we always have 50 million in sales, and that's every time it's 50 million, 60 million, 40 million, 50. That's actually the same what's happening with the PlayStation consoles. Of course, they do great, but it's always in the range of 100. PS3 did maybe 90 or something like that, right? PS4, 120. I think the stretch of console users, let's say, I think the top has been reached almost. So they need to expand, and how can you do that? To drill into another user base, and that is PC. And there is also where the money is. You said it also with the top 6 or top 5 games. That is Flight Sims,
the top six games on Steam this year: Sea of Thieves, Master Chief Collection, Flight Simulator, Grounded, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Age of Empires 2 HD.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
That's a massive, of course, in the top 6 on Steam. And Steam, obviously, we know as a very large community. That you're talking kind of eclipses the PlayStation user base in terms of volume of people using it.
So it's logical, and of course, people don't like it, but there's nothing to don't like about it. Because in the end, you're just playing your game, and I have now the Series X here, and I don't give a damn about somebody playing on PC or on his phone. Actually, it's the other way around. I'm liking that they can play Sea of Thieves somewhere else, or they can play Forza Horizon somewhere else, because it's a franchise or a game that I love. And if you love something so much in a game, you want to share it also with other people, right? Because you want to bring them the same experience. Sharing is caring, I always say a lot. And I think that is the perfect example. So why want to be so close-minded or whatever? It's really a strange way of thinking, and it will disappear anyway. So let's see.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Obviously, other than we know the benefits, we've known the benefits for a long time. Of course, people need to stop seeing these companies as just console manufacturers and console makers, because they're not. Once upon a time, these companies were just in it to make these consoles and console games and things like that. But these now are absolutely huge businesses, and they are a business at the end of the day. And people need to remember that they're not your friend. They're not your best buddy. They're not there just to please you. What they're there to do is run a business and make as much money as they possibly can. And on the flip side of that, what people have to remember, and including Sony mega fans, is that the more money they make, the more money is going back to the studio to make these titles that you love. So what is the bad thing about that? Like, if they're making more money, then they're going to get more money to make more content. And if you love the content, then you're going to get more of it.
That's it. I mean, it can go back into making either buying more studios, which would what they want, or investing in growing the studios that they want. Yes. So you can, you might be able to get Naughty Dog pumping out 3 games, however many years it takes them, instead of just the 2. Or I'm guessing that they work on multiple at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you can add an extra franchise into that, you're going to be getting maybe 4 to 6 Naughty Dog games a generation instead of 4.
Exactly, mate.
So I don't see. I can't get my head around some of these people. It's just the meltdown it's been funny, but it's also been a little bit horrifying as well. Like, one person literally threatened to go postal on Sony, and it's just like over something to other people playing games.
Yeah,
it's just mind-boggling.
I'm really curious what kind of person is behind the screen.
It's because it's their identity. They take on the PlayStation, and some Xbox people. So it'd be unfair just to say it's PlayStation people, but it's it's their identity. Having this, having that, and you dare let somebody into their inner sanctum.
Yeah, exactly.
It's punishable by, but let's not get kicked off.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, but that's exactly what Phil Spencer was kind of alluding to when he called out Crap Gamer all those years ago. He was like, but I don't understand what it is. I don't understand why you're getting angry that more people get to experience this game. Like, you can play it. Why shouldn't other people be allowed to play it? Like, we understand if you don't want this on an opposing console, that's fine.
Exactly.
You can keep that exclusivity. If you want it on a console, then it will be on that console. But PC is not a console. Like, people need to understand that PC is an entirely different platform altogether. Like, you can't take your desktop PC anywhere else unless you're moving house. Like, you're not going to take it.
That's the thing. Is I've seen people, the ones that went against Microsoft in the first place, saying they're supporting the destruction of the
consoles. It's
the console, of the Microsoft, the Xbox console. Why are people blindly leading themselves into the death of the console? But now they've turned around and said, well, it's going to lead to more people playing their games, which would then, their rationale was then they want to go buy a PlayStation 5. It's just like, no, if you're a PC player, you're not buying a PlayStation 5. There's a reason you're doing PC. You would have bought a PS4 or a PS5 by now.
Yeah.
So...
Well, there are a lot of exactly. You've got the hardcore PC players that might pick up a really cheap console later on in the generation to have. Not now, but
they may have done.
Then, just to have in the sitting room or something like that. Like, people also need to realize consoles are there for sitting room or living room enjoyment. Like, you put them in the living room is primarily, or your bedroom, and you enjoy that console in a living room environment. Whereas the desktop PC notoriously has been an office space type thing. Like, very rarely do you see, unless it's a PC master race individual who loves the PC, will they hook up their computer to their main living room TV and play games off that. That's a rarity, very big rarity.
I do know some people who have a capable PC but choose to go console because they say that they work on their PC all day, and they want a space away from playing on PC.
I completely, that's exactly what I do. Like, my computer is more than capable enough to run games well and look good, but I choose to console game because it is like, if I just sat here on this gaming chair all day long in a corner looking at monitors, like, you just need space. And on a console, you can sit on the settee, you can enjoy it, you can relax, you can just play games, have fun. Like, it feels a little bit more relaxed than sitting at a desk.
I do have a question though,
Yes.
about the crap curse. So he's gone anyway. He started off on Xbox, and those went to PC. Those games went to PC. He then defiantly moved to PlayStation, and they're going to PC. What would happen if he went to PC? Is that like a universe-ending paradox?
Yes. I think PC game is done, just in general. Yes.
Just implodes on itself.
Or is that the birth of the Ouya 2?
He'd be completely happy if he went to Switch, because that stuff just
I said that on Twitter. This is the best thing PC players can hope for now, is that he moves over to the Switch so they can play their games.
Yep. You wouldn't have a console exclusivity issue over there. That stuff's never coming anywhere at all. You can't even stream that stuff without getting demonetized.
I think you're right, Steve. It's also a character, right? It's also sometimes a business for people like on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Also that next gen 720 dude. What is his name? It's oh man, it's just so obvious that it's just triggering people, trolling people just to get clicks, and a certain fan base kind of likes that, right? To make fun of everybody and some stuff like that. And fair enough.
It's kind of the way I see it. It's like it's Occam's razor. It's like they're either really that dumb, or they're just playing the crowd. And I genuinely believe they're that dumb. You know, you've got your Craps, your Mooches, and all that lot who have switched over and have seen their channels explode.
Yes.
So I kind of see the rationale behind it. But I don't. When you see the little snipes they do at Xbox, it's like you don't believe that. I refuse to believe you are that dumb. I will give you that enough credit that I don't think you're that dumb. You're just. You know your market, you know who you're aiming for, and you know what will get you the clicks, the likes, and the views.
Sure, it is. Plus, they also changed, from Xbox to PlayStation, so they want to defend their choice also.
Yeah,
and that comes at a really high cost, let's say.
Yeah,
because they will do everything.
Look, the cost is the integrity. You can see it now where they're justifying PlayStation.
Going to PC,
yeah. They're now justifying it. That was the reason they used as an excuse to leave for PlayStation. But now they're saying, it's fine, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even that MGB guy or something like that.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. MBG.
They're damage controlling the shit out of it, and it's really funny because Twitter never forgets. So you see everybody, posting in a before picture and after, and then you see how hip, and that's so it's just a hypocrite, and I love to see it when people are posting those old tweets, right, compared to the new ones. And it's funny, but it's just they want to defend their choice, and they will do everything for it.
Well, that's the thing, is like I don't mind if you want to go over and switch your console preference and make content about your console preference, but it's the constant jibing out of nowhere. PlayStation does something good, they make a good a video about what they've done, but they can't resist having a little snipe at Xbox. Just give the news, give your opinion on it, and be done with it. You don't need to kind of go, and this is why PlayStation is better than Xbox or blah 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 blah. It's just like, just give the news, and you get more respect from. You probably get
everybody. The business as well.
The people that are kind of multi-console owners would give you a bit more respect and probably would follow if you're just kind of like, this is the Xbox thing, this is because I think they do have both, or at least I know that Mr. It's a wrap has both. I know he has both.
Yes.
That's why I'm such a where's my name there. You can't see because you've got the little block in the way.
Well, let's take off the brand for a minute. There we go.
Yes.
Jomba, it's a wrap. I know he has both, but he does nothing but crap on Xbox. It's like, well, why would you buy and play something that you constantly crap on? Because you don't actually think, you don't believe the words you're saying. You're a caricature for your brand, if you want to say.
Yeah. And that's one thing we've never been. If you've noticed on Twitter, any of our accounts, we've never been ones to then openly mock something in to intend to get additional likes or followers or anything like that. Like, we've never been the type to intentionally snipe on a console to get more followers, whereas people seem to bask in the fact that if they throw shade to an opposing platform and continue to throw shade day in, day out, the followers rise because it feeds those trolls and those
confirmation bias. That's all it is.
Exactly.
But it's like they also don't understand that you can have a preference without taking a dump on the one that you don't.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like we have a preference, all of us, I would say, for Xbox. I think that's fair, but Erwin loves PlayStation. I enjoy PlayStation. I probably don't play it as much as I probably could.
Yeah, exactly the same. You see it right there, sitting on.
Archimedes loves PlayStation.
The only problem I've got, I was going to say, the only problem I've got is playing Last of Us 2 was the sound of it the other night. I literally had to put headphones on. I was like,
I almost got that the other day when it was 15 quid at Argos. I put it in my basket, but they didn't have any delivery for where I was.
See, I had delivery, so it was like same day.
So I had to go down to the Argos, which is probably about 2 miles away to walk. And it was absolutely lashing it down. And I was like, you know what, let's just leave it for now. And then I didn't realize how long the promotion lasted. So I thought about getting it today, and it was out my basket. And I was like, oh, balls.
Yeah, that's the only reason I got it, to be fair, because I wouldn't have, like, it wasn't a game I was thinking I'm going to pay 50, 60 for, and it was still 55 on PlayStation Store. And I was like, nah. And I looked on Argos, and it was like 15. I was like, really?
I bought it second hand also for 40 from somebody.
See, that's the thing I don't understand with both PlayStation and Xbox, like with the digital versus physical. Like, I understand at day one that they don't want to annoy brick and mortars by undercutting them, but 6 months on, they should just radically drop the price. You know, whoever's going to buy it, had probably bought it by then. So why not? Why is it that in the brick and mortar I can pick it up for 15 or 20 quid new? Because like in game, I could buy it for 17 quid new, but again, there's no game near me, and they want almost 7 quid for delivery. So I'll just screw that. But if you can buy it for that much new, why not match it?
Yeah, exactly. It's just I even looked. I was going to say I even looked on CD keys, etc., and they weren't anywhere near that.
CD keys don't tend to do very much for PlayStation Digital.
No.
I find it a lot harder, especially for first party. You might find third party, but first party stuff, it's always full price or like a couple of quid off.
Yeah. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the only one I've got left for the PlayStation 4 generation that I want to add to the catalog to move into PlayStation 5 when I get it is Death Stranding. That's the only one I want to add to that back catalog.
Have you got Ghosts?
I've got Ghost of Tsushima, I've got Horizon, I've got Ratchet and Clank, I've got both of The Last of Us, I've got Spider-Man. I mean, Erwin's got all these now. Yeah.
Everything because of Drew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ghost, if Ghost was 15 quid at Argos, I would have probably gone out in the storm for that.
Yeah.
But as I'm kind of like a bit meh about Last of Us 2 anyway, if I see it cheap again, I'll pick it up and I'll play it. I've got to admit, it's obviously, and this is what I said when I played Last of Us 1, like I played that too late into when that had come out. Like I played it a couple of years afterwards. So it felt janky. The mechanics felt a bit weird. It didn't feel, so I didn't really click with it as much. Playing The Last of Us 2, it just felt so much better because you can tell Improved,
it was updated. I was like, no, this feels better. Like the stealth mechanics, and like I haven't shot, like I've only shot like the weapon once because the stealth mechanics are really good. So I just sneak up onto as many clickers and things as I can and knife them. And it just feels so much better. The story's much better. The environments are much better. So I'm enjoying it.
It was never a game. It was never a game I was going to pay full price for. Especially after I saw the leak and stuff and what happened with that, and I was like, I was a bit gutted. I felt that they ruined it for me. But if I see it cheap again, I will definitely pick it up. I'm not kind of going, I'm never going to play it. I'm just not going to be paying full price for it. No. Whereas Ghost of Tsushima, if I see that at a decent price, I'll go out in the store for that.
Yeah, it's another beautiful and awesome game, and Ghost of Tsushima is one that. And this is the one thing I've got against PlayStation is when you bring it into a new generation, I think they should really be emphasizing those studios to add additional abilities to those games. Like at least with the Xbox updates that we've received for some of these games, you're getting like up to 120 frames per second. You're at additional ray trace, and you're getting like 4K, like is like bumped at least. And the patches for these, and this is one of the things I've said before, but the patches for the PlayStation games on PlayStation 5 from 4 have been very bare bones. It's like, all right, we've unlocked frame rate.
Mm.
I'm like, well, at least put a little bit of effort into these next gen patches for them at least. Like at least Spider-Man, granted you had to buy it again, but at least Spider-Man, it had up to 120 frames per second, 60 frames with ray tracing and things. It was just, you know what I mean? At least they put more into it.
But you see with Days Gone now, right? So with all the visual options that you have, they just could have ramped up a little bit more on the PS5. But the only thing that they did is to go from 30 till 60. And I think the resolution hasn't changed or something, maybe also. So it's just a matter of settings, plop, plop, okay, and then just release it.
But is that a case of they can't do anymore, or they're just being lazy?
I think primarily they've been told, all right, it needs to be compatible with PlayStation 5. So if you can potentially just unlock something to make it perform a bit better and just get that out. Yeah. I think it's more of a speed thing, right? Okay, there's your patch.
Exactly. It's just time and money, I think, Steve. Not so much lazy. I don't think that has to do with it. It's just time and money and planning. You know, they're working already on Days Gone 2, 100%. So it's just a matter of, and the PC version, of course, because that will need some effort also to make it really run on all those different kind of graphic cards and etc. So I think it's just a matter of budget, time spending, etc.
I really hope that with the cross-gen games that they've got coming out, that there is a distinguishable difference between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 versions of that game. Otherwise, what is the point in bringing it out cross-gen if it's going to be no different? If, for instance, you bring it out and play it like Horizon Forbidden West is cross-gen. If that game comes out on PlayStation 4 and 4 Pro at checkerboard resolution up to 4K at 30 to 60 frames, but then on the PlayStation 5, it's checkerboard 4K still, like the games have been, locked at 60. What's the real benefit there? You've got maybe slightly improved, you know what I mean?
Times.
Exactly, load times and slightly improved performance. But
so you want better fidelity of assets.
I want additional kind of lighting. I want the ray tracing involved. Everything that they can do to make that version stand out better for PlayStation 5 to say, right, you definitely need to get a PlayStation to play the new Horizon. Like, it is the best way to play it, other than just it loads faster and it runs a little bit better. Like,
but knowing Guerrilla, they probably will.
They're an awesome studio, and hopefully,
they probably will. So I'm not so worried about that. To be fair, but
and
you know,
and
the same counts for
my favorite.
But the same counts for Xbox, right? With Halo Infinite,
yes,
for example.
Yeah,
we don't know. We don't know what the visual difference is.
Well, I'm hoping, because obviously they said anyway back when they showed off that first trailer that obviously got all the backlash. They said that the ray tracing would be included until a couple of months down the line. Now they've had an additional year to get that game. We know now that game is up to the point where they are literally polishing it before it's released at the end of this year. So they're getting all the fidelity complete. They're making sure it looks as pretty as they can. The core campaign and all of the side missions, etc., are complete for its initial launch day. They are polishing that thing up to scratch before it launches.
We know that say it better not be buggy.
No, I know. Well, the tech test, that's another good thing about Xbox games is that insiders do get tech test flights and tech tests beforehand. So we will see whether or not it's buggy and they can improve it and get it fixed before it launches.
Yeah. But do you think it will launch with ray tracing now? Because if they don't launch it with ray tracing, I think I
think given the time frame they've had now, if it was released when it should have released,
sure.
We'd still be waiting for ray tracing mid-year. But I think given the fact that they've given themselves an additional year to get this out the door, I think we'll have ray tracing on series platforms from day one. I think they'll include it. And if they don't, then we'll be the first to point that out and say, right, you've had that year, you've had more than additional time to get this stuff sorted.
Yeah.
You need to start showing people a reason to get a series console. like above just enhanced versions of previous games that we've had. Again, like I say, that to me is exactly what I want from both platforms. We need PlayStation have had more first-party games and still have more first-party games so far and this year, but they still don't have a redeeming factor as to why you need a next-gen console. And Series X and S are exactly the same. Obviously, the one thing for us is load times. Like, I've got me One X plugged in here, and I can tell you the load times is one of the main important factors to me now as to why I'm glad I've got this console.
It's not normal. Yes.
But if you're talking to a normal person that hasn't experienced that before, and they're saying, right, well, why do I need to get an next-gen console? And you just go load times.
Yeah.
Like, that isn't a reason. You can still play the games on your previous console, vast majority. So what's the point?
I think Quick Resume is amazing. It's hard to explain to somebody. I've seen people try and downplay it by saying, "Oh well, you know, I can still get with my PlayStation from cold boot to the game in like 15, 20 seconds." It's like no, but it's like you're starting from the last save point. I'm starting from the pixel that I left it.
Yeah, it's an entirely different thing, and that's why I love that. Like, even when I booted up Yakuza, it was like just press A to start where you left off. I was like press A, and it was just like oh right, okay, brilliant.
Sometimes I'm still surprised. I had it with Jedi Fallen Order, and then I didn't play it for a couple of days, and then I just played it again, and I thought, hey, quick resume. You know, you see the logo coming in. You're like, fuck yes, I didn't play 5 other games because then it will disappear, right? So it was still on, and then boom, you're just off where you are, where you left off. And man, that experience, every time it gives me some chicken skin, right? Some goosebumps. It's an amazing feature that is really underrated for sure.
What I'd like to do, I know that they've talked about it with being more accessible with Quick Resume. I've been able to see the games that you have loaded up. I'd love it if you could lock games into Quick Resume where it's only one or two. If you could like lock 1 or 2 games so they're permanently in Quick Resume and then the others flow in and out depending on what you're doing.
Yeah,
that'd be quite cool. Because if you play something quite regularly, then being able to lock that game down would be good.
Yeah, it would be awesome. And I know they've already spoke about it as well. They're looking at kind of increasing the amount of games you can have on Quick Resume, and of course we know now at about 5, then one of them knocks off, and then it doesn't go there. Of course, it still loads up rapid, but it drops out of the Quick Resume bundle. I know they're looking to expand that to like 7, 8 games in your Quick Resume kind of function, and I think that would be the perfect amount. I think because you're not really rotating any more than, and obviously a lot of people just I don't know how you can rotate so many games at any once, but trust us, when you're playing, especially Xbox, which is heavily party orientated, and you play a lot of games with friends, you get through 4, 5, 6 games in no time because someone's like, "Oh, right, you fancy playing this?" Like, "Oh yeah, boom, there you go, straight on."
I was playing a Valhalla a couple of weeks ago, and because I'm in the thingy program, the Alpha Ring program, my Xbox sometimes has a bit of a fart, and I have to hard reset it. And I was having a continual loading screen, even though that Quick Resume came up in the corner, it just wasn't getting past that. So I was just like, "All right." Held it down for whatever seconds, loaded it back up, and then loaded the game up, and Quick Resume wasn't there, and I was like, "Oh, gee, great! I have to wait through the whole." But it's just that's how it sounds really stupid. But you get annoyed when the Quick Resume doesn't go, and you have to go through the whole process. It's just like, "Oh, come on, my time's precious."
You know, the funny thing is, like, and I mentioned this before, when I first installed Division 2 again, I didn't realize that it was on the external hard drive that I'd put on, and it wasn't on the internal. And I was wondering why the loads were so slow. And then I clicked, and I was like, right, okay. So I moved it over to the internal, and God, what a difference! Like the load time, it went from just like load, like a minute later. So you're just going.
No.
And
like I was like I was playing with Mike, my friend we were playing with. He was like, right, I've quick jumped over to this location, and I was like, where is it? I can't see it on the map. And he was trying to guide. He just said the name of the place, and I couldn't find it. And he was like, if you go south then go east, and then it's next to so and so. And it must have taken me 30 odd seconds to figure out actually where he was, and I still beat him to loading up because he's on a
1X.
1X. No, he's on a 1S. He's on a 1S.
Oh, an S.
Yeah, he's on a 1S. So I still got there before him after trying to find him and then still load in. You're talking about 5 seconds to jump across the map. It's ridiculously quick.
It's with CFTs also. If you even on the 1X, it took bloody ages to start up the damn game.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Man, and it was so frustrating, and I like the music in the game, so you're like, okay, it's okay. But when you're starting your Series X and then just boot up CFTs, man, it's just, you see the CFT logo, Unreal Engine, the rare, bum, and you're in your main screen. That's it.
And I like one thing I've changed on Sea of Thieves is that you can turn off the intro. Intro video straight away.
I did.
was like, yep, get it off.
Yeah, I did, and now it's super even faster that you are in the game. So it's super fast.
I need to get back into Red Dead 2. But that is something's gonna have to give way on my hard drive because there's no way I'm sitting through those loading times. I'm
going to uninstall Warzone from mine because I've got Warzone sitting on there, and I don't know why I installed it again.
I think I've got that on my 5 terabit. I didn't see the point in having that on the actual SSD because I don't play it enough.
Yeah, I think I'm going to shove that back onto a regular hard drive.
Yeah.
But guys, I was thinking also about the YouTubers that we mentioned before because we just went down a little bit to the other topic. But isn't it also that when you see like guys like Dealer and Cole Eastwood, right? I know everybody has an opinion about them, but you can see they're doing normal things that you can actually see that the guys behind Xbox that are working for Xbox are actually coming on the show. The subscription or subscribers that they have on their YouTube channels above 100k or reaching 100k like Dealer is. You see actually people from Microsoft Xbox coming on the shows. And do we see with Crap Gamer or all the other dudes, do we ever saw a Sony executive on the show or some employee? I don't know, right? Because they don't know that actually those dudes also don't like such behavior.
Yeah, no, they hate it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't know stuff. They make stuff up, and it makes Sony look bad. If you're saying, "Well, they're going to do X, Y, and Z," and then they don't. I mean, at least. I mean, I like. MBG,
I mean, obviously, after everything kicked off with PC, etc., the other day, Crap Gamer's obviously releasing another video saying that Sony are going to buy a much bigger studio than Bethesda. So. They just pluck things out of thin air just to try and get again.
Yeah, they do. But I mean, MBG, at least he came out and he was just like, "Look, I got this wrong."
Yes.
Which I don't really think he really needed to do because his content was so and so have said X, Y, and Z. He hasn't actually come out and said they are saying this. He has always said somebody else has said this. So to his credit, he's never claimed that this is what he's heard. It's always been this person said it. What I'd like YouTubers in general to do is put a link to the sources. Like I was watching, I think it was Young Ye.
Yes.
And if you click on his thingy, he had like the video he was talking about. He had about 15 links to where he was getting his information from, so you can go have a look. Rather than my mate or my insider, the person that I know, have said blah blah blah, and there's the insider doesn't exist. The voice in his head.
We see that a lot these days, especially on Twitter. People are like, "Oh yeah, I've got this person that's told us stuff in the inbox and told us not to tell people."
I've noticed that. I've noticed.
And why mention it?
I've noticed in like a lot of people who've started the podcast and stuff. I've seen it with some Xbox people as well, saying, "I'm hearing these things. I'm hearing this. I'm hearing that," and it's just like you're never really saying that you have an insider or thingy. You're just saying, "I'm hearing." I mean, if you have an insider, if you have a genuine one, I don't expect a link. But
I was going to say, you see the funny thing with the Xbox lot, though, especially the ones that do generally get it right, will just all, like, if something's going to happen that day, they won't say anything. They'll all just put eyes emoji or something on Twitter, and that's it. They'll just be like, but then they'll all do it, and you're like, right, okay, something's going to be announced today. We don't know what.
You remember when Dino was on the show, when I asked him, so you get a Series X, right? And he said, I cannot say anything. But those dudes, they know already so upfront already what is going to happen. And I think it's also a controlled way of creating hype, I think.
Yeah.
So it's controlled some kind of leaks, some build-up stuff. Like I really believe that they get such scoops and things like that.
The good thing about them lot is the fact that they will know quite a lot, and they will have a lot of people that have spoken to them and told them things. But a lot of this, they won't have said anything that they've been told on any of their videos. Like they'll put speculation in that they've heard in general press. They'll talk about things that they've heard in general press, and their videos, such as hardware performance, etc., will always be based on articles from Microsoft. Anything that they know that they've been told privately, they've never created content, dealer or cult or anything like that they've been told privately. None of them have ever done clickbait articles other than stuff that has been reported by Eurogamer or IGN or anything like that.
Well, the one thing that the dealer did do, and he said he asked Xbox if he could do something to do with the Dirt 5 devs.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why things weren't working quite well, and they were like, no, we don't want you to say that. But then the actual Dirt 5 dev says, no, it's fine, he can say it.
Well, it was quite cool actually the other day, seeing the fact that Colt got the opportunity to do the FPS boost news. Like he was the person to announce that FPS boost on his show, and then Major Nelson then spoke about Colt's channel on that show. All right, well, if you want to go and check out the interview, it's on Colt Eastwood's channel. It was like that is when you get respected by kind of your fans because you're breaking legitimate news, right? Okay, this is what's happening now. This is actually what's happening, not just speculation.
But you then get the likes of Rand, who genuinely even Tim Dog, people who do know people, and they'll only ever really say something if they know. Like again, Rand said it, and he'll say, "I this is just what I think," but it's always for me, it's almost like this is what I think kind of thing. And I always thought that like the likes of Wolfenstein 3 and things were going to be multi-plat, but he's kind of hinting or saying that in his opinion, and it's always his educated opinion.
It's exactly the same with Starfield. Exactly the same with Starfield. Yeah. He said I wouldn't hold your breath on that coming to other platforms. He's like that's PC, Xbox. Yeah.
So there's certain people that you kind of trust. They will get some things wrong because sometimes I mean, even with any kind of source, is you get told something, but things change. Things last minute might change, and it's just like, no, that project's cancelled now.
Yes.
Like I was gutted when Rand was kind of like, yeah, there's a Splinter Cell in the works. He says, I know somebody who's played it, who's played a rough version of it, and then that never happened. He says, yeah, it got canned. And I don't. He's the kind of person that wouldn't make that up just for thingy. I genuinely believe that they had it in the workings and it got canned.
No. Yeah. I think, to be fair, I think they should as well. I think they should. It's things that
can Splinter Cell.
No, I think they should. I think they should. It's one of them games where it might be a massive mega hit. Obviously, because Hitman, let's face it, it gets a lot of people. It's a stealth game, but it wasn't a mega hit. Yet it's still a franchise that people love. And I think Splinter Cell, it was a franchise that people loved. Then it started to slowly die down, and then they were like, right, okay, can it? They did the same with Dead Space, like through that, like that was up,
and
then boom.
Dead Space had EA's little dirty paws all over it. It went from being a horror game to an action game in the third. Like I quite like the third one for the co-op element, but having it as co-op takes away all the horror because you've got a mate backing you up.
Before we rock on to the next one, I want to very quickly cover the Dualsense issues that people have been seeing. So, of course, everyone's been looking at Dualsense and especially mocking them. Obviously, being a modifier of consoles and controllers, etc., I know a lot about kind of the internal workings of these controllers. So I want to kind of cap this off quickly and kind of educate people a little bit. So the Dualsense has been getting a lot of flack recently for the sticks being very poor and getting drift issues, very short into their lifespan. But this isn't anything to do with PlayStation themselves, more the parts that they're sourcing for their controllers. So the parts that are inside of the DualSense, specifically the modules for the sticks themselves, the control sticks, are universal parts that are in a lot of controllers. Again, there's only 2 or 3 controllers that are out in the wild now that do not use the exact same modules. So your Xbox One, your Switch Pro, your Xbox One S, the Series S controllers, Series X controllers, the original Elite, the DualShock 4, the DualSense, they all have the same stick modules, so they all have the same lifespan. So before anybody starts kind of speaking about why it doesn't last so long and it's DualSense and it's PlayStation failure, it's got nothing to do with them. It's all down to the build quality of the manufacturer that provides these particular parts to all consoles. Like, they do need improved. It's probably an easy way to improve the lifespan and the quality of these things, but it would put the price of controllers up. Now, the parts inside of them, and I've got one, I'll just kind of get it for you now because it's quite easy to find. I'll show you.
I had problems as well, right, with my DualShock 4. So I bought a new Pro again, and after I think 20 or 30 hours playing, I already had drifting issues a lot.
Really?
So that was really upsetting, and I didn't want to. I was lazy as hell, so I just ordered a new one, and it's still good. But I think after 20 hours or 30 hours, I just had drift issues already out of random, and I think it's more random than it's really I would say the common fact or common thing that happens.
Yeah, it is. It's very common, and this is the issue. Is this little module here? Is your stick module? So that's a control stick. So that there by itself costs £4. £4. That little thing, that is for an Elite Series 2, by the way. So it's a little bit different to the ones in the other one, primarily because it has the adjustable. You probably won't see it on the camera, but it has the adjustable threads for the tension, which is a bit different in this module. But the other one, of course, that little stick in the middle isn't metal, it's plastic. So there's part of the wearing issue straight away. So you've got a lower quality version than the Elite 2 in here. Of course, the Elite 2 still has the same issues because the problem with these sticks is these little green modules on the side. Now, these are the actuators. So on the sides here, you won't see it on the camera, unfortunately, due to the kind of quality of the stream, etc. But on the side, on both of these, that's where the stick actually gets its rotations from. So that each side, when you're pushing it down here, then the side part over there will then move that direction. Mm-hmm. Again, likewise there, that direction, and then you get both, so they're both actuating at the same time. The moment you start to get any kind of dirt or grit inside of this green section here, where it has a little rubber seal, is when it starts to have drift issues and starts to get problems. Now, again, any normal person wouldn't want to open up their controller, dig around, and start kind of trying to, we'll unclip this. And then once we've unclipped it, then we'll get a little cotton bud with some rubbing alcohol and we'll clean it out, and that fixes it. That's all you have to do, or get some compressed air and shoot it in to get some of the dirt and grime out of it. The problem is most people don't want to do that, or don't have the time or the knowledge or the technical ability to get into a controller, take it apart, unscrew everything, and then try and fix this by themselves. So unfortunately, that becomes an issue. So for the sake of that little module, all they would need to do is have a built-in housing where you can't get dirt and grime in here on either side. That would fix the drift issue straight away. A built-in, instead of having separate components that do certain things, get a little bit of extra lubrication on the inside of that, make it sure it's a sealed environment, so dirt and grime and things like that, just even dust, can't get into it. Problem solved across the board for Xbox One, DualSense, DualShock, you name it, fixed. But the problem is, again, comes down to cost. When you can mass produce this for as little as they do, for millions upon millions, you're talking, God knows how many millions of controllers are out there. If that becomes kind of an issue, unfortunately, the common person will just go out and buy a new controller. It's just unfortunate. And until they kind of refine the design on that, which is unlikely, we're going to have the same issues for a long time to come. And like I say, the Elite 2 isn't as bad. The Joy-Cons don't use the same ones, so you're going to have the same issue on there. They use an entirely different thing. But it's going to be, again, that is you can't have a go at Sony for this. It's not just a DualSense issue. It's unfortunately just the manufacturer of this little component, this tiny little Chinese component here. Because it's mass produced for so little, that's where the issues stem from. That's where it's going to continue. So I wouldn't worry about.
Do you think DualSense 4 that I have, the first one that came with my console, is just some dirt or maybe some plastic thingy that is in that module then?
Yeah,
that's just you.
It'll literally just be a little dirt or grime because again, it's all you've got is a little rubber seal here, and on the inside of this little rubber seal, you've got a little component that kind of spins round on that rubber seal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got any dirt or ground there, then it's going to cause like a friction to stop it going round. So obviously, the less friction you've got, the easier it is for it to turn. When you start to have drift issues, normally you get a point where it starts doing something like that, even though it's not there because dirt has stopped it from getting back to its original position.
Okay, yeah.
So when you've cleaned out that grime and that dirt from that little component, that's your drift issue sorted because it's just getting stuck on some grime or dirt and it's not resetting to its position. So instead of it resetting back to that when you've finished your turn, it's just
Yeah, for me it's then not dirt because it's super new controller. But then some grind in it. But do you think I can fix it easily by myself? Just ordering a new module, watch some YouTube, or maybe do a session with you to bump open the DualSense or DualShock, and then let's go.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing you would need, especially just because you wouldn't have to take this off to fix it. Like, thankfully, these green things you can just unclip. You just get a little thing, and you just unclip the green thing from the top of the housing. Okay. Once you've got this unclipped, then you can easily access the little rubber ring on the inside and just give it a little clean out with a little, like I say, a little rubbing alcohol. So you don't actually need to remove because to remove one of these, you need to unsolder it from the board.
Yes.
And then solder it back on again. So that isn't a requirement. Like, the only reason I got this was simply because the thread on this particular module had broke off entirely. So it's unusable. But yeah, it's a step-by-step that I can quite easily do. And to be fair, if somebody wants to see how to be able to go in and clean out themselves to save themselves some money on a new controller, I'll be happy to put that up so I can kind of show them what they need to do and how they can do it.
A do-it-yourself show, a DIY.
DIY.
Yes. DIY.
Well, I'm lucky because my Elite 2's just started to get drift, but the back paddle doesn't always work. So I'm sending it back this week, and my warranty ends next week. So
they did.
I was literally like, "Whoo!" That was lucky.
It sounds strange, and I've done this a few times because even modifying, like, again, it would probably cost you less to get it replaced by Xbox than it would because it's free postage. Than it would to send it to me. I'll fix it and send it back to you because I know straight in here how I would fix that. But again, if it's a free replacement or free repair,
too much. I think the way they were talking, they were like, "Oh, we'll get it, and then you'll get it. We'll have it back to you within like 5 odd days or something." That sounds like they just give you a new one.
Yeah.
And then they'll just strip my one for parts. The good parts will keep.
Yeah, they'll probably just fire across a new one because they've got stock again. It's thankfully, like I say, when the Elite 2s came out, they were just out of stock for months. But now they've got stock again, so they'll probably just send you a brand new controller and just use yours for spares and repairs.
Which is quite cool because I got mine cheap because it was a display model.
Right. Okay. Sweet. Well, that's all right then.
Yeah. There's an X display model, so we got it for 100 quid, I think, rather than 100. It's 150, isn't it? Brand new.
Yes. Yeah.
Expensive.
So what I will do, actually, this is probably tie in well. I've got a new, so I've got a PlayStation controller here, which I'm going to, obviously this is already modified, but I'm going to modify it again into a DS Decade Tournament controller. So it's a kit by Extreme Rate, as you can see there. So whilst I'm doing the upgrade, what I will do is I'll also open the module, show you how to clean the module and things like that, so that people know how to repair it, because it's the same again on a PlayStation or an Xbox controller. As soon as you've unscrewed it, you've took the sticks off of the actual module, they're both exactly the same. So you don't need to worry about whether or not it's a PlayStation or an Xbox controller. They're identical modules, so there's no issues there. So when I'm opening that up, I'll put a video on the channel. Then I'll also do the cleaning of the modules, so you can kind of see how to do it, and that should fix any issues that anybody's got with drifting.
Cool.
Again, it shouldn't be something you need to do all the time, but even if it's something that you do once every few months, just give it,
Yes.
even if you or something like that, you'll be fine. It'll keep
For-
your
for me,
controllers lasting for a long time.
Helpful with the PS4. Because I bought another one just to, I thought, okay, I want to continue The Last of Us 2, so I thought like, I'm not gonna waste my time sending the controller, wait a couple of weeks and then get one back. So I just bought a new one, but the one I got now is still not working correctly. So if it's an easy fix, Drew, then I'm for a DIY project, man.
Yeah, it's an easy fix. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. When I do that upgrade, I'm going to be doing that this week anyway. So when I do that upgrade, I'll put the video on and I'll do the cleaning of the module at the same time. Save everybody some cash and not have to go out and spend money on new controllers.
Hey guys, before we continue, guys, I'm gonna head off. I have a very long day tomorrow again, like I had today.
No problem.
I need to be careful on my energy. I need to have a good day tomorrow with customers as well. So I need to head off. I think we had a very nice show with
we
some
did
nice
indeed.
topics.
We did.
So,
we have only one more topic to go anyway, so we'll let you go. Me and Shom will discuss that one, and then we shall crack on.
Yeah, we see each other on Friday, right? With
for our second
developer.
So
yes. That's quite interesting. Looking forward to his experience in the gaming development part.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to that, mate. So I will see you on Friday anyway.
Awesome stuff. So if you let people know where they can find you, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, so on Twitter they can find me on Forza Erwin, the same as on Xbox, the same as on Twitch, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually the most where I'm active on those platforms. So if you want to add me or see me on Twitch, just try to add me there. I'm going to try to stream some more CFTs as well. And yeah, let's see where we can get the Twitch affiliate numbers a little bit up, because they're quite low.
Yes, I think. Well, I'm sitting on 50, but I need to get average viewers up, and I need to get kind of stream on loads more days. So, yeah. I'm the same. I think I'm on 55 on Twitch or something like that. So I'll try and do the same.
So you need to only a little bit more viewers then.
Average viewers.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Was nice seeing you, Steve. Good luck with your interview results, mate. I hope you will get the good result you're hoping for.
Yeah, I'll drop you a message I'll drop it in the group as soon as I find out.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, I keep my fingers crossed, matey. I see you guys on the next one.
Awesome stuff. See you on Friday.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Oh, a bit of breaking news. The update to Anthem has officially been cancelled.
Oh. Anthem has been cancelled, or the update has been cancelled?
The update. In the spirit of transparency and disclosure, we wanted to share that we've made the difficult decision to stop our new development work on Anthem, aka Anthem Next. We will, however, continue to keep Anthem live services running as it exists today. So there'll be no more updates for Anthem, but they will continue to keep it running how it is. So I'm guessing if there's any bugs or anything like that, tough.
Ouch.
That just
that's
management all
by the
over.
way, the obviously season game, and Ian's, who's watching the show, potentially still watching the show now while he works, their article on season game, and BioWare has decided to pull the plug on Anthem, thus ending future development. So no future content, no update. The game will still remain open. The servers will remain open. You can play it, but nothing additional coming to that game. They have stopped developing for it. That is that's unfortunate. Again, we discussed this as well. Such a game with a lot of potential.
I thought it was a solid game. I enjoyed it as I was playing. It just didn't. It was just very bare bones. It was like Sea of Thieves at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like it had some very good core mechanics. I've never enjoyed flying about in my own Iron Man suit as much. But yeah, it's got to be mismanagement all over that from the start to finish. Yeah. The people working on Anthem Next, I don't think they had a chance by the sounds of it.
Definitely not. That's just unfortunate. They're just, so we're kind of zooming in on it there. So BioWare has decided to pull the plug on Anthem and thus ending future development. So again, for Ian's, if you don't ever look at, if you want up-to-date news and kind of manage very, very very well by Ian and his crew, seasongaming.com. They always get the stuff straight away, but that's unfortunate.
Favorite tabs bar.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely worth checking out for decent news, unbiased,
unbiased and accurate news.
Console war, yeah.
Yeah, definitely not console war at all.
Although I still, the jury's out on Ains himself. The whole Mass Effect 1 being the best. I just don't know how you can trust a guy like that. I really don't.
But yeah, that sucks. That though, that really
and
sucks.
For those that might be interested in the Outriders demo, depending on where you are, it releases 9 a.m. PST in LA, 12 EST New York tomorrow, London. So this is going to be the majority of us in the UK. 5 o'clock GMT, so 6 o'clock CET tomorrow is when you should be here. I don't know whether that's where you start downloading or whether it's open. That's one thing. I'm guessing it's when you start downloading demo release times.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, again, it won't be on the Xbox Store. Otherwise, normally we'll be able to remote download in time for that. But
let me see the Xbox on. I'll find out if it's there.
Nope. To be fair, I can do the same because I've got an Xbox turned on and plugged in beside me here.
Yeah, okay, so what's our last topic?
So the last topic is, it's quite an easy one to be fair. Last topic is simply the Bethesda completion next month and the rumoured event by Microsoft, what we expect.
Oh, did you see the thingy that Erwin put in the chat?
No, but I will open it now. Let's have a look here.
Yeah, apparently March the 8th. The 8th, according to Cobril.
Ah, yes. Please join us to welcome Bethesda at Xbox March 8 a.m. PT, 11 a.m. ET. Okay, that's quite a good time for everybody. That's from Cobril. He's not normally wrong about these things.
Again, he's another one like Randy will tend to release stuff if he's fairly certain. Again, you can never be 100%. I don't think it's possible to be 100%, but
to be fair, underneath as well, I don't know whether or not, like, see, because Clobrill's also said, "I'm just trolling. Come on, I wanted to join the hype train."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I just get done? Oh, Clobrill. Right, block.
But it is still a rumored event in March anyway. We know that in terms of acquisition wise, that's just dots and dashes. So as soon as that's signed, and they are expecting to be complete in March, and it's not just a few people saying it. Quite a lot of the big sites know that in March something is going to be of completion, and Xbox are doing an event. They don't know what they're expecting. It's because of Bethesda. They're not saying it definitely is, because it might be something entirely different. But they're expecting the Bethesda deal to be completed by March, and thus that's what the event is going to be. Obviously, at the minute, they're still doing their standard event. Their standard event for the Electronic Expo, I think it is, or something similar to that. The kind of technology event, is that what it is that they've got going at the minute? I think it is, isn't it?
I think that was the other day, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, so I think they've got the technology event still up and running. Let's drag this over here. Still got the technology event the other day. It was over a couple of days though, but that's one event, and then people look too much into that. But the Bethesda event, of course, meant to be in March. So really, it is. What are we thinking? Is it going to be the Bethesda event? Is it going to be something else? If it is Bethesda, what do you think they're going to talk about? Do you think
it'll be Bethesda? It'll be Bethesda. There's no point in them doing anything else. Bethesda's so big. I think it's just too much of a coincidence to be at the same time as the acquisition's supposed to be.
Do you think it's going to be a case of as well that they're going to discuss the upcoming, or should I say, continued development of some games and show off a few games, maybe even undisclosed games that Bethesda have been working on?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's going to be informative. I think they're going to have to answer the whole whether or not it's going to be exclusive, or what do they mean in terms of case by case. they could sidestep that one, but I think if they sidestep it, they're pretty much saying that a lot of games are going to be multi-plat, which I don't think they will be.
Yeah. And I think, are you expecting, other than Starfield, which is a rumoured release of still this year, what other games do you think they could possibly pull out the bag on this Bethesda conference if they're going to show off new games? What other games would you like to see that's in development? Everybody would shout Elden Ring.
Well, that's not Bethesda, so. Although I've seen people say that the Elden Ring is going to be at the PlayStation Thing event tomorrow, which I thought Microsoft had the rights to. So
weird. I thought they did as well, so I don't think it's. I think everyone's getting carried away. We'll cover that as well whilst we're on the Bethesda thing, because that is 2 events in the course of a couple of weeks. But we know State of Play tomorrow night, 10 p.m. for the UK. That's 11 p.m. for Europe. And of course, that would make it 5 p.m. in the afternoon for Eastern time. So I think people need to temper their expectations for the Sony event. I think you'll see development updates, or maybe it's a deep dive on games that you're going to get this year, such as Returnal, Ratchet and Clank. You'll see a bit more on that.
Well, they said there was going to be more new games released, or new game
information.
Infos. Yeah.
I think it could be Horizon. You'll see a bit more of.
Well, again, that's we know about that. By the sounds of what's been said, is that it's going to be things that we don't know about. Games, it doesn't necessarily mean a release. It could be they do a whole Last of Us 2 job where this isn't coming out for a couple of years type thing.
Yeah.
Which I kind of think is.
I suppose you could kind of show off what Naughty Dog's next project is.
You could tease it,
big
you could tease it. Obviously, you won't get any gameplay, but you could definitely tease it. But going back to Sony, I think they've been a little bit naughty for this year. Like the end of last year, they announced all these games coming out 2021. I don't think they ever intended to release God of War in 2021. I don't think they intended to release Gran Turismo in 2021. I think they just wanted to stack. This is what we've got coming next year. Come buy our machine. When they had no intent.
Yeah, to release those games at launch.
I'm still not 100% convinced Horizon is coming out. I'd like it to, because I really enjoyed that.
I think it's going to be. They're going to, and this is, you can. I wouldn't say quote me on this, but I think they're going to push back Horizon Forbidden West to launch the same time frame as Halo Infinite. Maybe. I think it's going to be the summer/holiday release to combat Halo Infinite on the Xbox side.
I think they were going to. I think there was going to be. I thought that's when they were roughly going to release it, but it wouldn't surprise me if it got pushed back to next year, just with COVID and stuff. Like,
see, they've already
February, March.
They've got a really good. They've got a fine balance into what they have to show off, because they have Ratchet and Clank and Returnal. And if they don't release Horizon Forbidden West or God of War this year, then they've got nothing for holiday. So as much as I think that they wouldn't push one of them, I know for a fact God of War is not this year. Like, that is definitely not this year. That's next year.
Well, the fact is they didn't show anything. They just showed a logo, and you're supposed to believe it's coming out in less than 12 months. No.
Horizon I can believe, because Horizon showed the area. They showed a little bit more. They showed in-engine at least. And bearing in mind that's a cross-gen game, that's a lot easier to produce for, whereas God of War's potentially either fully next-gen or potentially cross-gen. We don't know yet, because we haven't seen anything. What I do think is, and this is the only reason I think that, is they could say, right, we definitely are relying on that as our holiday hit. We need a big first-party game for that holiday period, because if they don't have that, what they're selling, they have no other big first-party games to sell the rest of the year if they don't have a Horizon or a God of War.
But then that goes back to what they've done, which I think is naughty, is that they said that 2021 stacked, and then all they've come out with is Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah. So I think they'll use granted, it's a pushback because a lot of people probably would have expected that in the summer period or potentially late
June
spring horizon
release, and then the war.
So I think it's an intentional pushback till the end of the year for a holiday release. This is our big holiday game, Horizon Forbidden West. Use that to combat Halo Infinite, because Halo Infinite's the biggest release of Xbox this year by a long shot.
Yeah, there is. It'd be interesting to see the numbers because, well, it won't be because you've got one in Game Pass and one in $80.
Yeah.
So, well, $70, should I say. It'd be interesting to see what the actual console sales is. Because I think I read somewhere today, and I don't know where they got the information from, but 1 in 4 PlayStation 5
yeah, it was
owners,
from Jim Ryan.
Was it Jim Ryan?
Said that actually.
1 in 4 PlayStation owners have never owned a PlayStation before. It's just like, it's got to be scalpers. There's no other explanation. So at least a quarter of their machines are being bought up by scalpers, at least.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers as well, obviously, we don't normally talk sales numbers, etc. But judging from what I've seen anyway, the sales numbers are far closer than they have been previous generations. Like Xbox, in terms of sales so far, are something around the 3.5 million mark, and PlayStation is around the 5 million. So obviously, you would expect PlayStation to be selling more regardless.
Not necessarily, because I think it's because everywhere's selling out. It's just a case of which company is making the most. Who's able to get more out the door. Yeah, I think if Xbox were able to make just as many and PlayStation couldn't, I think it would just easily be quite flipped over. I think it's impossible to really say who is genuinely selling what, especially with scalpers and stuff. It's just any spare one is.
But even given that, the number difference between them, or alleged number difference, 5 million and 3.5 million, that's not a massive, like, people will look at it and say it's still $1.5 million difference, but that's not a big amount.
No, considering they were 2-1 within a month of the last gen.
And last gen, it ended up being like, you see a 2-1, and then at the end of the generation, you're talking about nearly 3-1. Like, all in all.
No, it was never that.
It was about 50. Well, Xbox was sitting around the 50-ish million mark, and PlayStation was well over 120.
Yeah, that's still a 30 million gap. You could probably argue 2.4 or something like that. Yeah, say 3. That was the irritating thing. Is like I like when everybody was hardcore console counting. It's like Xbox over the course of 2 years didn't sell a single console, while PlayStation will continually, and it's just like it's gone 2-1, 3-1. It's like, how is Xbox not sold a single console? Yeah, in that
worldwide they've sold 100,000 units.
Yeah,
yeah, didn't make any sense. Would you like to see? I mean, what games? Obviously, we know you mentioned in there PlayStation are potentially going to be showing off new content. If that's the case, that has to be new IP because. Again, unless they're doing something with Uncharted, or they're bringing Uncharted back, or they're going down a new route, or what is it they're going to be showing off? They've got a lot of new IPs already in the works that we're aware of, but obviously a lot of them tend to be, should we say, timed exclusives?
Honestly, I don't know enough about the PlayStation studios of what they've all got and what they could be working on. The thing I could probably think of is that it's a second party.
Yeah.
A Returnal or something, of that ilk, where they've got full exclusivity for that game. Because, I mean, Returnal, that's not timed, is it? That's full exclusive.
Returnal's full exclusive, yeah. Ashu in the chat there said Pragmata, of course, 2022-23. Pragmata, of course, is that
the Capcom one?
Yeah, it's multi-plat, that one.
Is that the one with the little kid and the guy in a spacesuit?
Yes, that looked awesome. That looked like Kojima's kind of
I
stuff.
thought that was Kojima, but when it first came on.
Yeah.
I thought that was his next game.
But nope. That's multi-plat as well.
Speaking of Kojima,
yes.
And the Phil Spencer background, I think he trolls. I don't think there's anything in that. I think now that people have clicked on to looking at his background, I just think he sits there, has a little giggle to himself and goes,
the funny thing is,
Major Nelson, what about this? Should we stick this here?
The funny thing is, though, is people obviously would take, when Todd Howard did the interview with Xbox, and they were like, ooh, there's a Tomb Raider, not a Tomb Raider, there's an Indiana Jones game, because look, he's got the Indiana Jones statue behind him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, Bethesda are working on an Indiana Jones game. You're like, really? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
But I wonder
fair
whether he
enough.
just has, I think he has a laugh I think he trolls people.
Yeah, well, you've got to think, of course, and this is a little bit. This is where hierarchy on PlayStation versus Xbox differs quite substantially. Is that Xbox hierarchy are very much gamers. I don't think, and unless somebody can show me otherwise, I don't think Jim Ryan or the suits at Sony are very much on the same level. I think they're very much suits. They're directors. They do play games, but I don't think anywhere to the same degree that the likes of Phil Spencer, etc., do, because Phil Spencer, like, he is friends with a lot of people in the industry. He's the one that's connected the gaps between Jim Ryan and Nintendo. Of course, he got them all on stage infamously to kind of do that Game Awards talk a couple of years back. But also, again, Microsoft are very much hand in hand in making sure these companies can keep running with their cloud infrastructure, etc.
Yeah.
But he is a gamer at heart, and he will be speaking to the likes of Kojima, and he'll be conversing with him privately and things like that, and he'll be like, "Oh, I really love what you've done here. Like, I want one of these statues," because you can't just buy one of them statues either. Like, you tend to find like them statues, like, he just gives to people in the industry that he likes, or gives them to. So Kojima would have given that statue. That's not something that he's went out and personally bought himself. So you would have got that as a personal gift from Kojima. So I think it's more because he's friends with all of these people in the industry that he's got a lot of these statues.
I think people need to understand as well is it's nothing personal when somebody goes and does an exclusive, like, for I don't think it was a slight at Xbox when Kojima did Death Stranding for PlayStation. I don't think that was a malicious thing as some people would make out.
Yeah.
So it's all business. But I don't think you necessarily always need to be a gamer in this industry. I mean, look at Jack Trenton. I don't think he was a gamer, but he did absolutely amazing for PlayStation.
Yes.
I think he really reeled them. He was the Phil Spencer of PlayStation when they were on their knees during the horrific launch of PS3.
Yeah,
I think he really brought them back into being where they are. So it doesn't necessarily need it, but it does seem a lot of the key people within Xbox seem to be more gamers.
Well, the problem, again, people need to realize that every technical company is going to go through issues like that. And there's only going to be certain, the size of these companies as well is what saves them. If it wasn't for the size of Sony at the time, then PlayStation might have been much worse affected by the PlayStation 3. If it wasn't for Phil Spencer correcting a lot of the mistakes from the launch of Xbox One, then Xbox wouldn't have been here today. Like, if it wasn't for Phil Spencer, the Xbox would have been pushed aside, and it wouldn't have been, if he hadn't have argued the case to keep this going and invest everything that they possibly could into the segment, it wouldn't have been here.
Yeah,
we know that. PlayStation themselves, it wasn't the fact that they did something wrong in PlayStation 3. Is what they did was try too hard to make something that was new. Right, we're going to do our own thing. We're going to put the system in place. We're going to put the UI and the technology in place that we've created ourselves, and made it then just too hard for people to develop for that console, where it was more of a should we say, more of a risk and more of a time-consuming matter just to get it over and working on the PlayStation than it was just to develop for everybody else. But that's because they took risks, and unfortunately that risk backfired with the PlayStation 3. It did end up catching up with the 360, but by that point it was already pretty much done. That generation was over. So they then corrected that and said, right, okay, we're going back to what was easier to develop for on the PlayStation 4. And again, Xbox flip-flopped and did the opposite. They were like, all right, well, now we're going to push something that is asinine and nobody really wanted and just talk about TV forever. And that was their downfall. They pushed something that wasn't required.
Yeah.
So it's big companies can survive. And again, and then it flopped. If it wasn't for the fact that PlayStation 4, not only did they pull it back from the grave in the PlayStation 3, but then ended up saving Sony in their detrimental hour. because Sony were on the verge of going completely tits up if it wasn't for the fact that PlayStation was doing so well.
Yeah, to sell off a load of their stuff, didn't they?
Yep, because the TVs were a shambles at the time. Like if you the beginning of the PlayStation 4 generation, if you were to talk about someone buying a Sony TV, you'd be like, well, why would you do that? Like them TVs are horrific. Like the Sony phones, the Xperias were terrible. Like it was just a non-starter. But then they've pulled it back. The TVs have steadily went up because they've had this cash influx from the PlayStation brand. Likewise, Xbox. If it wasn't for the fact that Microsoft, Phil Spencer hadn't went to Xbox and said, right, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to do it. And this is why I need the influx of cash to get this done. If it wasn't for them or him asking for that and making them see that it was a viable solution to get Xbox back up and running, we wouldn't be here today. So we have Phil to thank for that, for Xbox being where it is now. And again, what we've spoke about countless times, myself, you've said it, competition is healthy. If you don't have competition, you don't drive creativity. You don't drive kind of the advancements in the sector. So if Xbox is gone, which is what hardcore elitist fanboys want, if Xbox goes, PlayStation will not innovate. They will just continue on the same thing. You'll not get anything more than the bare bones. You will get standards.
And you will be paying $100 a game.
Yep. If it isn't for the fact that they have competition, you're not going to go anywhere. And likewise, we don't want PlayStation to go anywhere, because if PlayStation keep pouring out this huge AAA content, like masterpieces, big, high-scoring games, if they don't continue to do that, then Xbox will also rest on their laurels.
We don't even want them to become weak. Not the case is that they're disappeared. You don't even want them to become weak. You want them to be challenging. You want the battle.
They do. We want to sit there and go, right, okay, well, what a PlayStation is bringing out, well, that looks absolutely awesome. Like I want Xbox to pull out something like that as well. Like Xbox need, and what we've been doing this, like the tail end of last generation coming into this generation, is we want Xbox to put in the same effort in their first party titles as they do into all of these secondary features and UI and hardware, and all of the effort they've put into hardware to get it as good as it is now. We need to put that into the studios, right? Give the studios the ability to create and be the best they can be. Put out these brand new experiences that we've not had before, and we are starting to see that slowly but surely.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for the fact that PlayStation were absolutely hammering it and going hell for leather on AAAs in the mid to late part of last gen, and just one after another critically acclaimed masterpieces, if it wasn't for that, Xbox wouldn't be where they are now. Xbox wouldn't be trying to improve. So we need both of them to continue pushing each other and fighting in a ring and standing back up and keep going. If it wasn't for that, I mean, again, we never speak about Nintendo, because Nintendo are an entirely different entity. They do what they want. They please only themselves. We don't, like, Nintendo could be there, Nintendo could not be there. Nintendo don't cause Xbox or PlayStation issues. They just do their own thing.
They don't even listen to the fans. They're just like, this is what we're doing, like it or lump it.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was hoping, and it was very, very briefly, everyone was hoping to see Metroid again on Metroid 4 on the Nintendo Direct, and nothing. Everyone's like, really?
Like 2 or 3 years since they had the flash screen, wasn't it? Yeah.
Still nothing. Not a thing.
Up there, yeah.
Square Enix announced Project Strategy something, their new Project Octopath follow-up game that is coming out, and the demo's out now. They also announced a $60 remake, or not even a remake, a HD update for a game. I can't even remember the name of it because it's not for me. And that was it. More Smash Bros. Info. That's like, it is bare bones. Like, they give them very little, and then in the middle of the year they're like, okay, there's a new Mario and there's a new Zelda, and but they didn't even speak about Zelda in their conference.
Yeah.
And we know Zelda, the Breath of the Wild kind of number 2 is in development, but they didn't speak about that either.
I think with although that we're saying that we shouldn't want companies to disappear, I do think that Microsoft need to be a bit more ruthless.
Yes.
I think 100%. They're too nicey, and I think it comes from the fact that in the late 90s, early 2000s, like Microsoft was just hated as a company. It was hated, and I think they're worried about that kind of thing. I think it sounds awful, but I think that Xbox should make games like Wolfenstein 3 exclusive.
Yeah,
I know PlayStation would do it. They'd have absolutely no qualms about doing anything that was previously on both. Like they locked off flipping Street Fighter 5.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. I know, Shom, you spoke about this before, but can you just, for Ashu, can you reconfirm the times that Outriders demo will be releasing?
Yeah, let me get it back up. Where is it? There we go. Depending on where you are in the country, or in the world, sorry. PST, 9 a.m., 12 p.m. EST, 5 o'clock GMT, and 6 o'clock CET. I don't think anybody's in Moscow or Dubai or Tokyo, are they?
No, I don't think so.
Or in those time zones at least, anyway. So, yeah, Europe, either 5 or 6 o'clock, depending on where you are in Europe. And then 9 a.m. PST and 12 p.m. EST.
Yep, sweet. And that's tomorrow, of course.
I'll just stick the thingy in the chat.
Awesome.
The link. I'll stick the link in the chat. There we go.
So I think Gunstar's got a point there. Microsoft have been trying to shed their shit image, so being bad boys and doing things like that for years. And I think Shom has a point, though, that they do need to be a little bit more ruthless. And with the acquisition of Bethesda, be ruthless and say, right, a couple of the games that you've got in development currently, multiplat, but the rest going forward, that's it. Done.
I just think anything other than
you don't spend 7.5 billion on a studio like that to continue to give it to an opposing platform. Yes, you've got it on cloud, you've got it on PC, you've got it on Xbox. That's it.
You've got it more than enough places. Yeah.
You don't need 100. In the grand scheme of things, this is what people need to understand. In the grand scheme of things, 120 million, or at the moment, 5 million consoles is not worth their time when they have potential billions on PC and Xbox and mobile. These games will be on cloud on day one. So for all those that love playing on mobile in China and Japan, that's primarily where they're going to be playing these games anyway. They have awesome 5G over there. They've got awesome internet over there. Like, they can do this. Like, it's not like parts of the UK and rural UK where you struggle to get 20 meg still, or even in some parts of America where you struggle to get any kind of quality internet. Like, China have got that stuff dialed down for the most part, internet speeds. So they spend a lot of time on.
South Korea has a terabit. Is it a terabit? No, gigabit in the national park via Wi-Fi. So,
if only. Bloody only. But yeah, so that's like they've got enough places to put their games right now. They have enough places to put their games right now. Like, they don't need to share their first party, which will be first party IPs with an opposing platform. Like, the only reason, as we know, the only reason you've got a Sony game on Xbox is because it was licensed by Major League Baseball. If it wasn't for the fact that MLB said, we want our game on all platforms, that game would remain solely exclusive to PlayStation. That's the only reason it's there. And that's if either do this or lose the license is essentially the way that conversation. Essentially the way that conversation went. It's not because Sony wanted to, it's because they were told to. And that's how ruthless that is. Now, that's the kind of, as much we want advancements from both companies, the only way we're going to do this is if both companies are ruthless in their first party. If it's your first party, you keep that first party. You keep that on your platforms that you develop for. Now, we're talking about home consoles. PC is a separate entity, as I've mentioned before. Like, you can't, unless you've got a gaming laptop, and even then, you're going to have a really good gaming laptop to be able to play some of these new games on that at a good level. And you sometimes, and even now, I know that I'm not going to get the same level of gaming experience on my laptop as I will on a Series X. There's absolutely no way I'm going to, like the Medium, you've seen that on Digital Foundry. That game causes issues for like 2080s and 3080s, running at 4K, barely running at 60 frames. They're like, if you want a good experience, just play it on the Series X.
Yeah, it's better optimized. It's still
just optimized better, and that's the difference. Like, games will be optimized better for console than they will be for PC. Yes, it'll come out for PC. You'll have issues on very minor amounts of the time. Someone with a mega PC for like 10 grand is going to play that game better than anybody else.
Yeah,
but that's a very fine minority. But that's it. It's quite streamlined. I mean, like you mentioned, they do need to be ruthless. What games primarily would you like to see them be ruthless for? If they were going to announce anything at this event, what games would you like to see and be ruthless with?
Wolfenstein 3, definitely. A final one for what's it called now? Let me have a look at my Xbox. You can always tell when I'm tired because I always forget flipping the simple things. What's the stealth game that they do? Dishonored. Yes. Yeah, Dishonored. I'd like to see another one of those. Just trying to think what else. What's viable? I can't think of much more because I know there hasn't really been much out of those two studios.
The one thing that I think is going to remain multi-plat is potentially, I wouldn't even say a future mainline Fallout games, but if they decide to do an MMO version of Fallout 76 again, like they have.
Oh yeah. I think the only two things that will stay multi-plat will be the MMO side, will be the Elder Scrolls and the 76.
Yeah,
they'll keep doing them. They'll continue making content for that. Everything else,
because if you have a look, Xbox notoriously, if it's an MMO or something that's going to do well multi-plat, like Minecraft Dungeons or anything Minecrafty, if it's something like that they know is an absolute powerhouse in sales, they will put that everywhere. They don't care what that's on; it's everywhere. And Minecraft Dungeons now, I mean, you wouldn't think it, but that's well over its 10 million players as well. That's like you wouldn't have even thought that. That's and in Minecraft numbers, that's tiny. Because they're well over 220 million copies of Minecraft now.
Yeah.
With an average player base of 130 million active.
So yeah, I don't think there's going to be. Well, when I say I hope, I don't mean it as a slight to PlayStation. You know, I hope they get kept up, but it's kind of like it's business. It's the PlayStation would do the same.
At the end of the day, it's business, and you need a reason for people to get your console. It is competition. You need to push competition. Yeah. And of course, it doesn't mean that we want, because it's not going to always work the same way. Are Sony going to be able to handle more big first-party studios, or are they in a good enough role now where they've got a good cycle going with their current first-party platforms? So if people keep forgetting that it's only very recently, we're talking just less than 2 years, that Insomniac joined Sony.
Yeah,
that's a really big studio to get anyway. Like, Insomniac are so talented.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, if say Sony bought Ubisoft, I would not expect any of the Assassin's Creeds on Xbox.
Nope, completely agree. If they went out and purchased a studio, Sony, and all credit to them, will keep all their stuff completely and utterly first party and lock that down as exclusive. And so it should be. That is the reason I own a PlayStation in the first place. The only reason I own a PlayStation is for exclusives. If it wasn't for the exclusives, I wouldn't own a PlayStation, because I don't play with anybody. I've played with Erwin once, who played Fall Guys, which is coming to the Xbox soon. So that's another reason I don't need to play it. So we played Fall Guys and we played a little bit of GT Sport. That was it.
I think it was Bloodborne is the only game I've played with the guy that I game share with.
Yeah.
That's the only online thing.
Yeah, but other than that, if it wasn't for the exclusives, I wouldn't have one. PlayStation need exclusives, and Xbox need to do the same. They need to be, like you said, they need to be ruthless. They need to be absolutely ruthless. But yeah, that is, we are wrapping up for this evening anyway. We've still managed to get to 2 hours, massive, even though we didn't set out to be that. But we have a second show on Friday, if you missed the beginning of the show. So on Friday, myself, Forza Erwin, and Italian Clowns will be jumping in with Thomas Salah from ID at Xbox Game, and now in Game Pass, The Falconeer. So that'll be the same time. So it'll be 7 p.m. GMT on Friday. So if you have the time, definitely jump in and see that. We'll be asking him about his course of independent development, how things are going now, his thoughts around kind of the development, his processes, really getting to know the guy, as well as speaking about the game and what his kind of plans are for the future of it. So we hope to see you then. Until then, Shom, if you want to take it away and let people know where they can find you and what you're going to be up to over the next week or so.
For the next week, I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. I keep saying I'm going to try and stream Splinter Cell, but it's just I'm not in the mood at the moment for some reason. So if I'm on, I'm on. If not, I'm not. But you can find me on Twitter and Xbox under Shomberlon.
Awesome stuff. And you'll find me again on Twitter and Xbox as WandrinDutch. You'll also find me on Twitch as WandrinDutch. PSN, you'll find me as GoesseN. Again, mentioned Switch. I think I put it underneath. I won't speak about the Switch code, but I am on there. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll easily find me on Switch. Until then, I have 2 new episodes of Know Your Creator already done. They're just getting wrapped up and edited before they get released. I have interviewed God's Geek and also Italian Clowns. So both those episodes will be up. One will be up by the end of the week. The next one will be the end of next week. Of course, they're released on Saturdays. So tune in to watch those. Patreons get access to them on Friday. So I hope you enjoy them when you view them. Other than that, as I mentioned earlier, I will be doing, which will take a little bit of time to edit, but I'll be upgrading that from a standard DS4 controller to a Pro controller, so a tournament controller, thanks to Extreme Rate. So we'll see how that goes, and obviously show you how to fix the sticks as well while I'm at it. So I'll put that up as a separate video, again, first available to patrons, and then they're available the next day to everybody else. All of these will be live premieres, so I can talk to you whilst the video is on. Until then, we will see you all on Friday for our part 2 of episode 25, and then again next week. So thanks for your time again, guys. You've been awesome in chat. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and share this out. It does really help. Thanks, guys, and see you all later.